So it's like, hey, go and talk about money when you want. I ain't got that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's cool. But we're going to get into this subject of money. And you know why we're going to talk about money? Because we all need money, right?
Right.
I like money. Who doesn't like money? If you don't like money, give me yours. All right? Okay, so everybody likes money, but we don't want to admit that because, like, I don't want everybody to think I'm just money hungry, right? But I like money. You know why? Because I enjoy what money brings. It brings security, right? It brings prosperity. And you know what? When it comes down to it, I enjoy some of the comforts that money brings. Like indoor plumbing. Hallelujah. How many of you guys would rather go outside to an outhouse? No. Money brings indoor plumbing because I can afford to pay for that indoor plumbing. Money brings me a vehicle that I can drive so I don't have to walk. As you can tell, I don't walk much. But I enjoy what money brings, okay? Money is not evil. How many of you guys heard money is the root of all evil? It's not. The love of money, if you get overly obsessed with money, yeah, that can lead to some evil. But money is just as evil as that chair. The chair's an inanimate object. So is money. So money is not evil, and it can be used for evil. I mean, we can buy hitmen, right? You know, we can buy illegal things, and they can be used for evil purposes. But money in and of itself, it's not evil. It provides a lot of security and prosperity, okay? And Jesus talked about money and possessions more than any other subject. You guys realize that? More than anything else, Jesus, the guy that we follow and that we base our life on and our beliefs on, he talked about money more than anything else. He talked about it more than love, more than faith, sin, healing. You name the subject, Jesus talked more about money. She's not leaving because she got mad talking about money. No. Okay. No, I've had people do that before. So if Jesus talked about money, don't you think maybe we ought to bring this subject every once in a while? Because if we don't talk about it here, whose perspective do we get? We get the world's perspective of what we should do with money. And how's that working out for them? How's that working out? So real quick, is the video ready, Caleb?
Yeah.
Kind of. He gives his look like he's not really sure.
He was asleep.
I want to show this video. I've played this in other churches. It's about 5 minutes long. We go from where I used to play it. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. Okay? So go ahead and play the video.
I think accountants get a really bad rap. So, we thought we weren't going to fight it. We're just going to claim that. And so we are redeeming the bad rap that accountants get.
Well, this doesn't feel good. Perhaps I'm best off with giving a little distance to this moment.
No, unless you want to join us,
No.
If you guys want to stand up and dance along, you're more than welcome.
I thought they were going to start taking off their shirts.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's a goodie.
What's up, people? What's up? Your white tees in the house.
They call me nonsense.
Yeah, little bit up in here. Every day in the mail, I get nothing but bills. I could rap all day about my financial bills. Money comes in and goes right back out. I know that you know what
Goodness gracious. Oh, I knew it was a fish. Oh, there.
100.
They know where you're coming from.
100. And when we say 100, you say 10. 100. 100. That's right. When we say 100, you say 10. 100. 100. He's that.
Something a little different. You don't see that in a lot of churches, but hey, we like to be creative. I've seen that, I don't know, 100 times, and I still laugh every time. I thought Bobby was just getting ready to stand and try to do the new kids.
I was trying to freestyle bring this place, but I know I couldn't recover
Okay,
that one.
so, just a little humor talking about kind of a heavy subject, because money is a heavy subject that we're going to talk about. God commanded us to bring the tithe into the storehouse, right? So the tithe, the first 10%, the storehouse is the local church. The storehouse is not your house, okay? The storehouse is not Walmart. The storehouse is not Target or Kohl's or any of the other. This is the storehouse. God's local church. This is the hope right here, guys. The local church is the on the front lines of winning souls, okay? And that's where it comes back for. That's why. Okay, tithe is the first 10% of your gross income. Leviticus chapter 27 and verse 30. I got a few scriptures today, a few thousand, so we're going to try and get through this quick, okay? Okay, 1/10 of the produce of the land. Okay, the produce of the land was their income. This was a farmer's or an agrarian society. So how did they get their money? It was by what they produced on their land. That was their increase. Instead of getting dollar bills, they were getting grain, okay? So 1/10 of the produce of the land, whether grain from the fields or fruit from the trees, belongs to the Lord and must be set apart to him as holy, okay? Our tithe is holy. God says it's mine. You can't have it. It belongs to him, okay? So, Jay, can you stand up right here with me real quick?
AJ.
How many now we haven't rehearsed this. She didn't know she was getting called up here, so she's gonna have to kind of figure this out. I don't know. But I want you to count how many coins I have here. 10 coins. She got it right. Everybody give a hand. All right. Okay. Do these coins, they look pretty much the same, like they have equal value?
Yeah.
Okay. So of these 10 coins, which one belongs to God? First one. Thank you. Sit down. Thank you, Jake. All right. Yay. Good. And I only picked on it because she was sitting right there. It was close. All right. Okay. But the tithe is the first one. It's not like, okay, let's see, I pay my rent, my car payment, insurance, get a kid something to eat, and then I need new shoes, and then no. All right, God, this is yours. Now let me figure out how to budget the rest. That's why budgeting is so important in our life. That's why we're going to give you a financial circle to teach you how to do that. Because budgeting helps you be responsible with your increase, right? So money, it's a great tool, but it's a terrible master. When money starts telling you where it has to go, money's not good at that. But money is great to be used, okay? So the tithe comes first. Exodus 13, 1 through 2. Did we lose it?
No.
1 second, he says. And it's time's up. I'm going to go ahead and read it off of my tablet while we're waiting for that, okay? Then the Lord said to Moses, dedicate to every firstborn among the Israelites, the first offspring to be born of both humans and animals belong to me. The first. They belong to God. So what do they do? If you had a clean animal, and I'm not going to go into clean and unclean because, I mean, that's a whole lesson on itself. The clean animals are the ones that God would take as a sacrifice. They were required, a clean animal. So you would take a clean animal, like a lamb, for your firstborn son, and you would sacrifice it to God. You've redeemed that firstborn. All right? Exodus 13, 12 through 13. It says, you must present all 4 firstborn sons and firstborn male animals to the Lord, for they belong to him. A firstborn donkey, which is an unclean animal. Donkey is unclean. may be bought back from the Lord by presenting a lamb or a young goat in its place. But if you do not buy it back, you must break its neck. Why would you break its neck? Because God says it's not, you didn't redeem it. So it's going to die anyway, because it has to be redeemed. See, that's what we do. We take that lamb or that goat, and we sacrifice it to God to redeem that donkey. The tithe is what you give to God, and it redeems the rest of your income. You took what was, you took the tithe, clean the rest of your increase, and now it's blessed of God. Isn't that cool how that works? You take this 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. I mean, these stores, they say 10% off. And you're thinking, big deal, 10%. But man, 10% of my income. Oh my God, I can't survive without it. 10%. And it redeems the whole rest of your income. Because that's holy in the God, that first 10%. Okay? Exodus 23:19. As you harvest your crops, bring the very best of the first harvest to the house of the Lord, your God. You must cook a young its mother's milk. Okay, that's kind of gross. Give God your best. You don't bring him leftovers. Okay, I made my house, my gas, my electric, my phone bill. Okay, God, I have this left over. I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you. God wants your first and your best. Okay? Your first and your best. So, let's go over what tithe is not. Okay? Before we go into the what is tithe not? Tithe is not leftovers. How many of you guys enjoy eating leftovers the next day? After you've had a big meal, get some put in the refrigerator. I know people, I don't understand it, but they say, I don't eat leftovers. That's poor people food. Well, I may be poor because, man, I live off. I enjoy leftovers. I take leftovers to work the next day. That's my lunch. Okay? It says, I don't want your leftovers. I want your best. And we stop and think about it. Didn't he give us his best when he gave us Jesus to redeem us? Yeah. So he's worth my best. Okay? Tithe is not the change in your pocket. It's like, oh, here, Bill doesn't just over there. Pastor, shut up, so at least I gave something, right? No, that's not a tithe. Tithe is not a donation to the American way, or you donated to the orphanage or to something, and those are noble and those are worthy causes, but it's not tithe. Well, I gave so the kids can go to camp. Thank you. That's not tithe. Don't take from your tithe to give to other areas, okay? Because you're kind of stealing what's God's, okay? Donating time to the church. Well, I came and I helped set up. I cleaned the parking lot, and we did this other stuff, so we're good. That's not your tithe, okay? Picking a number out of thin air. I'm just going to give $100 a week, and we're going to call it good. Well, that's fine if you make $1,000 a week. Okay, but if you're making more than that, you need to do the math and come up with your tithe. You can't tithe 2% or 5%. Because what does tithe mean? A tenth. 1/10, which is 10%. Okay? Tithe is not a new concept. God has commanded us to tithe from the beginning. That should be your first note in your program. Tithe is not a new concept. God has commanded us to tithe from the beginning. There was a tree in the center of the garden, knowledge of good and evil. Okay? Does anybody remember reading the story in the Garden of Eden? And what was significant about the tree? God told Adam and Eve, don't eat. Okay? Genesis 2:16-17. But the Lord God warned him, you may freely eat the fruit of every tree in the garden. Next verse, okay. Except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If you eat its fruit, you will die. You're sure to die. Okay? Why was this tree so significant? Why was it so special? What was the big deal about this one tree? It was God's tree. which is where God wants us to be in the center. He wants to be in the center of your life. Okay? God doesn't want to be number one on your list, where you go, okay, God, I do the God thing, like, no, 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 no. He doesn't want to be on the top of the list. He wants everything to revolve around Him. Because when we revolve our stuff around Him, everything else just tends to work out. When God's the center of my life, when I get things lined up, things between my wife and me go a lot better. Things between my kids and I go a lot better. Okay? That's why God wants to be the center. Now this tree was in the center, and He said, this is my tree. It's holy. Don't touch it. And so what did they do? They ate it. Like when I used to tell kids, don't put your finger in the light socket. Don't put your finger in the light socket. And all of a sudden, all the lights in the house go out. It's like, who put their... I got one kid walking out with smoke and their hair standing straight up. It's like, okay, you put your finger in the light socket. Adam and Eve put their finger in the light socket, and they ate from the tree. Okay? So, we see we go ahead a little bit, because the tree was just like the tithe. It was holy, it was set apart. So Genesis 4, chapter 4, verses 3 through 5. When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of the crops as a gift to the Lord. Does God want some?
No.
No. Abel, who was Cain's brother, also brought a gift, the best of the firstborn lambs from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel and his gift. But He did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry. Why didn't He accept Cain's gift? Now there's a teaching out there right now, and there's people that still teach this, and hey, they may be right. I don't prescribe to the teaching. And they say the reason God didn't accept Cain's gift is because God wanted a blood sacrifice. There had to be blood in order for there to be an actual sacrifice. Okay? I don't believe that. Why don't I believe that? Because I don't think God is going to give me an impossible task to do. Cain was not a rancher. He didn't grow livestock. Cain was a farmer, or what they used to call a tiller of the ground. Okay? Cain grew vegetables, and he grew grain, and he grew all the food. Cain's problem was he didn't bring the first and the best of his crop. He brought some. And see, sometimes we get into that Cain mentality. We're just going to bring some. Abel brought the best and the first of his lambs that were born. Abel was obedient. He said, here you go, God. Here's my first. I'm trusting you with the rest. Okay? I believe that is a direct representation of God telling us, hey, don't mess with what's mine. I told you I want the first and the best. I expect you to bring that to me. And I don't think Cain did that. Okay? So Cain, he brought a little bit and then brought some, where Abel was obedient and said, I'm going to give you the first. Okay? Now, in the days of the Old Testament, soldiers would fight. There's wars and wars. People were fighting all the time. Nowadays, when our soldiers go to battle, they get a paycheck. You know, the United States Army pays people to be soldiers, right? It doesn't probably pay them very much, but they do get a wage. Well, the way that the soldiers back then were paid was the only way you make money is you got to go defeat that army and you get their stuff. So you kill a guy and he's got, gold in his pocket or clothing or whatever. That was your pay. You got to take it, right? So that's how the soldiers back in the Old Testament, that's how they won. Gives you quite a good incentive to win the war, right? Because if we lose, not only do we lose, but we're broke. We have no livestock, we have no clothing, we have no gold, no silver. So we got to go out and we have to defeat these guys. Okay, well there was a town that was right ahead of Joshua, the first town, the town of Jericho. And they had to go and they had to take this town in order to get to the promised land. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the story, it's in Exodus. It's a fun read. Okay, but I don't have time to go into the whole thing, and I wish I did. But God says, don't take anything from Jericho. You get no gold, no linen, no livestock, no nothing. Okay? Let's read Joshua chapter 7, verse 1. But Israel violated the instructions about the things set apart for the Lord. You guys see a theme going on here? You know, people not doing what they're supposed to do and it not working out real good for them. And a man named Achan had stolen some of the dedicated things, so the Lord was very angry with Israel, with the Israelites. Okay? Don't take anything from Jericho. It's mine. And what does Achan do? If you read through the story, he took money, he took linen, and he buried them, okay, under his tent. Okay, here's the second one on your fill in the blank. Jericho was the first city they conquered and was God's. It's because it was the first. God says, I'm going to be with you throughout this journey, but this first city, it's mine. It's set aside. It's the first coin. Leave it alone. Leave it for me. And I'll redeem the rest of your battles. But save Jericho. Don't take anything from it. It's holy. It's set aside for me. Because it was the first city. Okay? It's the first city that God has called them to. Okay? God has called every single one of us to be faithful with our first. Okay? God has called every single one of us to be faithful with our first fruits. Okay? Or the first part of our increase. What's another thing we can call our increase? Our paycheck. Okay? Every first of the month, I get a paycheck. And it's up to me to be faithful with that. It's up to me to honor God with that. Proverbs 3 and 9 says, honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of your increase. Deuteronomy 18 and 4. The first fruits of your grain and your new wine and your oil and the first of your fleece, your sheep, you shall give to him. Him being God. Okay? Now, I'm sure that there's some of you, you've seen people on the internet that love to talk about tithe. Especially some of these guys. Anybody can set up a YouTube channel. Anybody can set up a Facebook Live or something on Instagram, right? Anybody can do it. So just because they're on there, that doesn't mean we should be trusting them. And I say this as I'm speaking on Facebook Live. Okay? But they get on there and they teach and they say, we don't have to tithe anymore. Okay? It's a false doctrine because we're no longer under the law. We're under grace. It's a new covenant. It's a new testament. We don't have to do this anymore. Okay? Let me show you something that I found in Numbers chapter 18 and 21. Okay? God knew what he was doing. Right? God knew what he was doing. As for the tribe of Levi, everybody say Levi. Now, I'm not talking about the genes. Okay? This isn't the prophet Levi's 501. Okay? As for the tribe of Levi, your relatives, I will compensate them for their service in the tabernacle. Instead of an allotment of land, I will give them the what?
Tithe.
The tithes from the entire land of Israel. So what was God telling them? You have 12 tribes of Israel, 11 of them, they get this land that's broken up, and they each get their own spot of land, except for Levi. Because he was telling the tribe of Levi, this is the priests, these are the pastors, these are the people that are going to minister to the other tribes. I don't want you out there working the land. I don't want you raising animals. I don't want you going out there and cutting weeds and doing all this stuff. I want you to take care of the temple and take care of the spiritual needs of the people. So instead of giving you land, you guys get to take the tithe. And that is how they are supported. That's how they take care of themselves. So somebody that says, well, we don't have to tithe anymore. Well, we still have pastors, right? We still have people that work within the church. And guess what? The more faithful we are, the more people we can employ within the church, the faster we grow, the better the teaching can be, because we have people that can concentrate and they can sit there and study and go out and bring the lost in. That's what we're all about. So the tribe of Levi, that was their payment, was the Okay? Now, the reason the law, I hear this stuff talk about the law. The reason the law was given in the first place was because the Israelites had been held captive for over 400 years. They didn't know how to govern themselves. I mean, think about it. You've been in your mom and dad's house. They never teach you anything. They rule you with an iron fist, and then all of a sudden you're 18 and they say, get out. And now you've got to go figure out how to do things on your own with no direction, with no help. What's going to happen? You're either going to be living under a bridge, or you're going to steal and go to prison, right? So God says in His wisdom, says, let me give you the law. Let me teach you how to govern yourself. Let me teach you how to eat. Because not everything that you can eat is good for you. So let me teach you some dietary law. Let me teach you some worship law. Because you haven't had this while you're in Egypt, okay? They had no idea how to govern themselves without the law. So they all had the inheritance except Levi. Okay, so the law tells them we needed to tithe. Tithe was required long before the law. Remember, the Garden of Eden, the tree, that was the first example of tithe. Cain and Abel, right? Okay, the tithe was not invented in the law. The Israelites already knew that they were required to tithe. Remember, the Garden of Eden, Cain and Abel, Jericho, they already knew they were required to. Here's the next one on your list there. The law simply told them where the tithe was supposed to go. They knew they were supposed to do it. It's like, hey, I know I have to spend this money, but where do I take it? Well, I don't know. So instead of just leaving them to their own devices, so that was set aside and holy for God, God says, no, let me explain to you. Let me tell you, this is where your tithe needs to go. Okay? Tithe was in the Old Testament. I don't know how many times I've heard that. Can I show you a quote from Jesus himself that tells us we need to tithe? Am I offending anybody yet? I'm a little disappointed. I usually have at least one that's like pretty, like face red and purple.
He ain't here today.
So, okay, I'm glad you guys aren't offended. Because this is a subject, man, this is hard to talk about because people, when you start talking about money, and it's like, oh, he just wants our money. I don't want your money. I want Bill Gates' money. All right?
Sure.
So, what's the guy from Amazon, Bezos? I want his money. All right? But as far as all of this goes, this is something that's for you to help you so that God can reach down and touch and bless your life. And you know what? One of the reasons a lot of people tithe is they just don't understand it. And we have done such a horrible job of explaining it. We as the church, as the pastor. And I don't want to be guilty of that. So let me show you a quote directly from Jesus. How many of you guys know if Jesus said it, that settles it, right? Matthew 23:23. What sorrow awaits you, teachers of religious law, and you Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are careful to what? To tithe, even on the tiniest income from your herb garden. But you ignore the more important aspects of the law, justice, mercy, and faith. You should, yes, but do not neglect the more important things. Straight from the mouth of Jesus, okay, the Son of God. You should tithe, yes. You should. Real quick, this is into my notes. I'm going to step aside here for a minute. I want to explain something real quick because I don't want there to be any confusion about this. Tithe and money, this is not a sin issue. If you don't ever give a dime to the church, it's not going to send you to hell. Okay? This is not something that Jesus says, you should tithe or thou shalt go to eternal fire. No. But this is an issue of blessing. How good of a life do you want to have while you're here? I want the best I can get, and I want to have influence and affect as many people as I can. I'm only going to do that if I'm faithful. Okay? So if you never give a dime, we're going to love you. We're going to treat you like you're just the greatest thing in the world. All right? You're not being sent to hell over it, but you may have issues in other areas because of a lack of faith in following God and what He's told us to do. Okay? But we still love you, and we're going to pray for you, and we're going to be there for you no matter what. So what does the tithe So eventually here at Community Circle Church, tithe is going to go to pay pastor salaries. I'm looking forward to that day. Not gonna lie. So, but not just for me, but we want to have other people come on. We want to have associate pastors that are going to have designated areas where we can say, okay, this is your job. Go out and take care of this. Okay? And sometimes you can't get those people because they can't afford not to work, so we have to compensate them. Right? So that's what we want. We want to affect this area, and it's going to come through time. So pastor salary. When we get our building, we're going to have utilities. Right now, we have to buy supplies. Okay? We want to do outreach. How many of you guys, the first time you ever came here, you got a Starbucks card mailed to you? Yeah? That's part of it. That was paid for with the tithe. That's because we wanted you to know that you mean so much to us. We want to buy you a cup of coffee because we want you to come back. All right? So, that's part of the stuff the tithe goes to. We have upkeep within the church. Okay? We have special events, right? We're going to try and bless these kids on this basketball team here in a couple of weeks, right? Or a month, whatever it is. It's going to take money. We want to reach out to that family. We want them to know how important they are. And there's all kinds of other stuff that the tithe goes into. It's not just going in here so we can have big buildings and I can buy a new car and wear Italian suits. And can you guys picture me in an Italian suit? Yeah, no, I mean every summer.
Yeah.
But that's not the deal. I mean, we want to reach out. Okay? And how many of you guys know it takes money? And how many of you guys watch TV shows? Right? They receive a tithe on their TV shows. It's called commercials. Right? Because they have to receive money in order to be on the air. So it's not uncommon, okay? I'm going to tell you this, God will not be mocked. Okay, God, he says that in his word, God will not be mocked. Okay? And here's the next one on your list. When we are unfaithful with the tithe, we're mocking God and his promises. Because what are we saying to God? I don't need your help. I don't need your blessings. I don't need you to help my finances, my job, or my income. God, thanks, but I got this. I got this. Let me tell you a quick story. Several years ago, my wife worked at a manufacturing plant up in Porterville. They were going through some downsizing. And there were several people in our church that worked at this plant. And they were laying people off. And everybody was worried about it. Let me tell you something. Not one person that went to our church was laid off. Not one. You know why? Because they were faithful. And because God had his hand of protection over them because of their faithfulness. Okay? See, so because when we tell God I can do this on my own, God's a gentleman. You guys understand? God is a gentleman. He'll just say, okay, it's all yours, Bubba. You got it. You handle it. And we see what happens when we try to handle things on our own. I know I usually mess it up. Okay? Because God's going to step back. If you want to handle it on your own, God will let you handle it on our own. Because there's a reason why some of our cars keep breaking down. You can't get out of debt and there's still chaos in your home. There's a reason for that. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying if you tithe, you'll never have another problem. Car will never break down. Your kids won't be idiots. I'm not saying that. Okay? There's still going to be stuff that happens, but guess what? You've got the hand of God protecting you. Sorry, Randy. So, there's still going to be stuff that happens, but guess what? You're going to have the hand of God that's going to be over you and he's going to be walking you through it. Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. It's one of the most common verses that the pastor used when it was talking about tithe. I just could not bring it up, okay? Bring all of the tithes into the storehouse, so there will be enough food in my temple. If you do, says the Lord of heaven, my eyes are getting blurry here. Armies, of heaven's armies, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great that you won't have enough room to take it in. Put me to the test. Some versions they say, try me now and then. You know, this is the only place in Scripture you can read the Bible from the front to back, and I've done it several times. No other place in God's word does he say, try me, test me, I dare you. Double dog dare you. Go ahead. He says he'll pour out a blessing so great we won't be able to handle it. Now that doesn't always mean money. It doesn't always mean money. You know what that could mean? It can mean, you know what, a broken relationship is reconciled. Maybe there's a healing in your body, but the doctors don't have an answer for it. Maybe there's something else that's going on in the job that you never thought you had a shot for. You get it. Because you were the recipient of the blessings and he poured it out to the point where you couldn't take it any longer. Alright? I saw an example of this. We had a lady that we used to go to church with. She owned a dance studio. And she was very faithful in her giving. She was very faithful. And I drove by her studio one time. There was cars parked all over the place. Her whole parking lot was full. Cars up and down the street. See, that was the overflow. She had so much business she didn't know what to do with it. Because God was putting his hand of blessing on her. Okay? So when we don't do that, we're subject to the devourer. Because we didn't bring God what was his. We didn't bring God what was his, okay? Now, here's another pet peeve of mine, okay? You can't pay your tithes. I hate it when I hear people say that. You can't pay your tithes. It's not a bill. You pay your mortgage. You pay your insurance payment. You pay your car payment. You don't pay your tithes. You're giving God back what, actually, you can't even give God back what's his. You know what you can do? You bring it to him. If you notice in Malachi chapter 3, it said bring. It didn't say pay all of your tithes. It didn't say give all of your. It said bring all of the tithes. Because Jade, if I borrow your car and I drive around in it for a week, what are you going to do when I come back and say, hey, you know what, Jade, you've been pretty cool and you're my favorite, so I'm gonna give you this car. And you're gonna look at me and say, you stupid idiot, that's my car. No, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring you your car back. I'm gonna bring that in. Okay? Let's put it real simple. Real simple. I think this is the last one on here. There's only two things you can do with the tithe. There's only two. You can bring it, or you can steal it. Because anything short of bringing it, it's stolen. If I don't bring Jade her car back, I've stolen it. Right? I've stolen it. So, I mean, that's it. There's really nowhere else to go. And that may sound harsh, and I'm not trying to be harsh on you. I'm going to be honest. Okay? I just want to be truthful to you, okay? Let me give you some statistics from a poll I read. Okay? 22% of people in this poll totaled their value of their donations at $100 or less per year. So thank God we have those people, because man, we're gonna just like move right along with people giving $100 for the year. Okay? 33% gave between $100 and $500 for the year. 20% donated a total of $500 up to $1,000 per year. Now you're making $70,000, $80,000 a year. You're running a little short, right? 12% between $1,000 and $2,500. 8% offered $2,500 to $5,000, and 5% estimated their donated total as more than $5,000 per year. Per year. So, if the church was to run, and if everybody gave like you did, how would the church be running? Okay? And so, just so you guys know, I don't pay a lot of attention to who gives what, so be okay. Some stuff at the end of the year, but other than that, I don't want to know. You know what I mean? Because I like you guys. So, I really do. I like you. Bobby, I like you too.
Oh.
So,
I wish I just liked myself.
well, maybe if you gave more.
Yeah, look in the mirror.
Okay? So I asked myself, I said, self, how come people don't want to give? What's the big deal? And you know what myself said? I said, ask Google. So I Googled. So I said, Google, how come people don't want to give? lack of faith in God. They just don't trust that God can take care of our financial needs. We're control freaks, because I'm going to hold on to this, and nobody's going to break it out of my hand, right? And I'm holding on to this with a tight fist, right? And I've got it, and nobody can get it from me. But here's the problem. Nobody can give me anything else either, because my hand's so tight-fisted. They try to give it to me, it's going to fall all over the place. And we're so tight-fisted. And let me tell you something. The most miserable people I've seen in the world are the ones that have to have the control of money. They're so tight-fisted, and they're so just, money, I just gotta save it, I gotta keep it, I can't spend it. Oh, Lord, it just, it won't let go. The lack of trust in God. Okay? Just disobedient. I'm not gonna waste my money on church. Are you kidding me? There's like a brand new Xbox out there I want. There's a brand new witchamadidja, or whatever the latest thing is. I don't, whatchamacallit. Yeah, and I don't even know what a witchamadidja is, but I'm sure it's expensive. Right? But it's like, I just don't want to give it to church, okay? I think this is probably one of the biggest ones, is a lack of knowledge or ignorance, because nobody's ever been taught or shown the importance. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, because we're so afraid to talk about it. So afraid that people are going to get offended and walk out. And you know what? Somebody might. And that's never our intention, is to offend. Okay? Our intention is to inform. Okay? So, there's also a lack of gratitude. There's a lack of love for God. Hey, it's all about me. You know, we all heard the song, I want to talk about me, I want to talk about I want to talk about oh, my, me, my, what I think, what I like, what I know, what I see. Right? You want to talk about me? Because it's you usually, but occasionally, talk about me. Right? Yeah, I listen to secular music sometimes. I know, come on now. So I don't just listen to Amazing Grace and How Great Thou Art. Come on, guys. I'm a normal guy like the rest of you. So, so it's all about me. It's all about me. And we forget that God's there on what He's done for us, okay? God's not number one in your life. Because again, it's me. Look at all the stuff I can buy. I can go buy these witchamadidgets and some whatchamacallits, and I can be happy for a minute. Okay? Church, they just want my money. Let me tell you something. You guys realize that the church is the bride of Christ. You guys understand that? This is the bride of Christ. Now, standing in the back, making fun of me right now, call this letter brother, is my bride. And that's my wife back there. And, you know, I love my wife. I do. I love her more than all the rest of you here combined. So, if you were to come up to me after church, and you said, hey, Steve, no, man, we just love you and appreciate you. And you can still do this. It's okay. I like hearing this, okay? So, we think you're the greatest, and you know, you're just amazing, and we love you. Man, I can't stand your wife. She just gets on my nerves. She's rude. She's obnoxious. I can't stand her. How's that gonna make me feel?
I would hope not.
Yeah, you hope. Right. Right. If you love her, you'd be mad. Right. How much influence do you think you're gonna have with me? How many do you think you would have a broken nose? Five fingers. Hey, now, think about this. God, we love you, we praise you. Oh, Jesus, yes, Lord, we love you. Oh, but I hate church. You just told God you hate His bride. I can't support your bride, God, I'm sorry. I gotta get a new witchamadidja. You guys are gonna be using witchamadidja all week this week, I promise. All right? God's not gonna take that lightly, okay? So, it damages the relationship, right? I remember years and years and years and years ago, a galaxy far, far away, we had a family member borrow some money from my mom and dad, okay? The family member says, you know, I don't think Glenn and Brenda will need this money back. They're loaded, they're rich. I mean, they have the money to borrow it, right? Never paid it back. Well, what happened? It damaged the relationship. It damaged the relationship. Do we want to do that with God? Do we want to damage the relationship that we have with God? Okay? Our relationship is far too important. How am I doing on time?
You're over.
I'm okay. Okay? Church is the bride, is the wife of Christ. Let's not damage that relationship that we have, okay? I've got here some questions. I'm just gonna skip over those questions, and I'm gonna tell you just a quick story. You may have said, hey, I made some bad financial decisions. I can't, it's not in the budget. I've done it upwards, up and down, sideways, backwards, all the way around. I can't afford it. Can I tell you, start somewhere, please? Start somewhere. Be faithful to where you start. If you say it's 1%, or if it's $50, or whatever your number is, start somewhere and start building that relationship with God in that way. Don't damage the relationship any farther. Okay? Now, most of you know, and I'm doing this as I'm closing, but I'm going to move the notes over there. So I went through an ugly divorce about 10, 12 years ago. Ugly. I think I'm in talks with Lifetime. We're going to do a movie about it. Okay, it was one of those type of divorces. Okay? Well, the judge looked at me and he said, you know, Mr. Dodd, you're doing pretty well for yourself. We're going to take X, Y, and Z. And I had to live on approximately 25% of what my take-home pay was. I had to give the rest of it in alimony and child support. Okay? But I'm not here to dog anybody. I'm not here to say, but it was rough. And so I did that for a while, and I mean, it's tough. It's miserable when you just lose 75% of your money, and you know, you still have to work every day, and it was rough. But Robin and I, we made a decision, and we said, we're going to tithe on my full paycheck. And I had people tell me I was absolutely nuts. I felt absolutely nuts. But I said, you know what? I'm not tithing for the situation I'm in. I'm tithing for the situation I'm looking forward to. And so what we did was we tithed on it, and we tithed on it for 6 or 8 months. And all of a sudden, stuff started changing. I got custody of my kids. I didn't have to pay spousal support. Then I didn't have to pay any child support. I got my whole paycheck returned to me. Now, would that have happened had I not been tithing on the full paycheck? If you ask me personally, no, I don't think so. But God was faithful. And you can't convince me not to tithe. I've heard people say, I can't afford it. I can't afford not to. I need his hand to bless me with my income. I need it. I'm too stupid, but the other 90%, I need him to bless it. You know what I mean? So, I want you guys to understand, this is something that we don't want this from you. We want just the blessings of heaven to rain down on you. This is what we want for you. Because when you get blessed and the church gets blessed, we reach other people and we start making a difference. And we start impacting lives and we gain influence. So I'm going to issue you guys a challenge. How many of you guys like a challenge? Nobody, okay? We got a couple. We got a couple there.
Well, it's dangerous.
Yes. Yes.
Dangerous on me.
Dangerous you're in? Okay, you come over and I'm going to cook for you. And
That's
let you
it.
eat. Here's the challenge. For 90 days, that's 3 months, if you will be faithful and if you will tithe, okay, and I mean that it's documented and recorded so that we can look back at it. And after 90 days of being faithful and tithing and giving or whatever you're going to do, you say, you know what, it didn't work. I'll give you money back. Money back guarantee. Now, how can you do that? Because I believe God's going to bless you. Because I believe the Word of God works. I believe it's worked for me. Now, let me give this little disclaimer. If you're going to do it just so you can maybe give your money back and you're going to tell me no matter what, don't waste my time, please. Don't waste God's time. Don't waste your time. Okay? But if you sincerely will put this into action and you will tithe for 90 days, and you come to me after 90 days, and don't tell me, oh yeah, I gave $10,000 in cash in the box, And, no, I'm talking about you gave online or you wrote a check and we can document it and you tell me it didn't work. I'll write you a check and I'll give you money back. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to give for 90 days. You're going to be faithful with your tithe and you're going to say, holy cow, this works. This works. I feel better. I feel blessed. I may not have, got all of the financial stuff that I wanted, but man, things are going better in my life. It works. And it works in other areas. All right? You guys up for the challenge? I dare you. So 90 days from today, mark it. Put God to the test. Say, how can you do that? God's will, God's will. Let him handle it. Okay? Close your eyes and bow your heads with me. Lord, I thank you for everybody that's here today. God, I pray that you walk with us through this journey. I pray that you bless and empower each and every person here. God, as we get ready to walk out and to leave the building, I pray that you have emboldened us with the spirit of generosity, with the spirit of giving. God, to be faithful to you, to the church, and to your system of tithe. God, I pray that supernatural soul-winning power is granted upon every single person here. And that every person here, God, brings something to them next week so that they can learn and so that we can multiply. God, we're not into addition, we're into multiplication. And God, with your help, all things are possible. We love you and we thank you. God, as we dismiss this service, bring us back next week. In Jesus' name we pray. Everybody in the house said, amen. All right, guys, remember, the best is yet to come.